you can re-listen to anything that you would like later on. So a couple of things. The first is I want to make sure that everybody is on our WhatsApp group. And please make sure that you have notifications turned on. We got a handful of people. So it's myself, Candace, Justin, Pamela, another gentleman named Stephen, who I'm guessing just wasn't able to be here today, and Drew Patrick, who is brand new, is going to likely join as well. And then Aubrey's mother actually would like to do some of this too. So we're supposed to chat a little bit later this afternoon, and we'll pool all of our resources. So I'd like for the Roswell recruiting team WhatsApp to kind of be our kind of our hub, if you will. So when we have successes, when we have questions, when we got a difficult objection that we didn't know how to deal with, or when we used a particular phrase and that caused us to have some success, I want this to be like a true team. Okay. I have posted a bunch of resources on the chat, the WhatsApp chat, that has a couple of call sessions, that has a little bit of training. I've done a few sessions with Profit Share for the PC group, so I put those on there. And then there's some script books that I've put there too. So as we do with our sales businesses, if you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a new business, right? Then even if we're not going to spend a huge amount of time on it, the degree to which you can be consistent and focused and disciplined around protecting the amount of time that it takes to do this work, you're going to see phenomenal results. Okay. Justin and I, a couple of weeks ago, I think from a conservative standpoint, remember our monthly minimum is to have 10 appointments held with either Aubrey or Robin. Okay. So that's the goal. That's the minimum standard. When those numbers are hit, then there'll be a bonus for half cappers when they come and have their first deal, and full cappers when they come and have their first deal. I'm not positive the numbers at this moment, but it is a bonus, and it's coming out of Aubrey's bonus that he gets for those people that come on board. And we want it to be worth your while, so it should be a respectable number, which is way more than you would get if you were just doing this on your own. You would just be getting profit share. So we're trying to incentivize you a little bit more. What we had determined are some of our rough numbers, or in order to get 10 appointments held, we probably need to set in the neighborhood of about 17 appointments. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys a spreadsheet here shortly that'll kind of walk you through the way I want to track everything. But my assumption is that you're going to need to set 17 in order to have 10 held. Okay. Now, once you get those appointments held, my math was about 40% of the half cappers. I'm sorry, 50% of the half cappers will eventually join, and 40% of the full cappers will eventually join. Many of them will join way before you expect them to. Okay. So 40% for full cappers, 50% for half cappers. So that basically means that if you get 10 people in front of either Aubrey or Robin, once we start building our pipeline up, you should have in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 people joining the company and naming you as a sponsor every single time. Okay. The first priority is to get them here. If they have another relationship with an agent at KW, then it is kind of what it is. Most of the time you'll be named sponsor, some of the time you won't be. But if you're the one that is responsible for booking the appointment, you would get the bonus regardless of whether you're named the sponsor. Make sense? Okay. Let me know if I'm forgetting anything that Aubrey's spoken to you about directly. The next thing I want to talk about is, what is all this stuff worth? So just to give you some super rough numbers, it is my opinion that if a capper is working elsewhere and then ultimately comes to KW, I can't imagine them slipping in production. So they'll probably remain a capper, and that is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of around $2,500 per year. Okay, $2,500 per year. A half capper who then comes to Keller Williams, I would imagine will get to capper status, but let's just say for argument's sake, that's worth about $1,500 per year. Make sense? So what if you were to get 2 cappers and 2 half cappers per month? That's 3,000 plus 4,000. So that's 7,000 per month, right? No, I'm sorry, per year for the month, right? So that's 7. I know I'm being confusing. Hang on.
In the WhatsApp chat, you made it sound like I'm only getting 48% of the 2,500. So I'm not actually getting 2,500. That's the profit share.
No. That's your share of it. That's your share of it.
I bring a capper on board and they remain a capper. I get 2,500 every year.
That's correct.
So you would take the $7,000 and divide it by 12?
That's right.
Okay.
So if you were to do that once a month, that's bringing on an average of about almost $600 per month for the rest of your life, assuming they stay at Keller Williams. Okay. That makes sense. You were to do that times 12, you could do this for 1 month, or I'm sorry, you could do this for 1 year and you'll be right at $7,000 per year in profit share. No, I'm sorry, per month in profit share. Make sense?
And how many people does that look like?
So that would be that'd be recruiting about 48 agents to Keller Williams. Let's say half of them are cappers, half of them are half cappers.
Okay, so 24 and 24.
Okay, so let's do some retirement planning real fast. Okay, if you guys ever heard of the 4% rule?
What are the 72?
No, not that. The 4% rule basically says that if you take your nest egg, if you take your investment asset number, you should be able to, you can expect in the neighborhood of 4%. That would be the interest income from that amount. So for example, if you have, let's say, 2 million in the bank, 2 million in the bank, that means you should, actually, let's do 1 million. If you have 1 million in the bank, that will deliver $40,000 in passive income per year. Okay. So if you then have 2 million in the bank or in some type of investment vehicle, you should be able to realize $80,000 a year in interest income. Make sense? So if you can build out a business that puts this type of money in your bank account, it's as if you got paid $2 million to do it, and you didn't have to pay taxes on it. You see what I'm saying? So, Pamela, you with me?
You don't have to pay taxes on profit share?
No, you do, but I'm saying it's as if, let's say you earn. Think about it like this: if you have 2 million in the bank, you had to save it, and I think the average person would be lucky to save 10% of their income. So you'd make 20 million to save 2 million. And you got to pay taxes on that too. So now we're talking about making 40 million to pay taxes. So you got 20 to save 10%. So now you got 2. So that'll spit off the passive income of, let's say, $80,000 a year. So that's incredibly powerful when it comes to placing people in your downline. Make sense?
And this is on a bunny trail, but you could put a max allowed into a self-directed IRA and then buy real estate with it.
That is true. That's exactly true. Or you could use it for paid up life insurance or all kinds of different investment vehicles, right? Right. Or buying investment properties. So your passive income pays for additional passive income.
Or your life insurance.
That's right. So we can get into the weeds plenty with how to invest the money that we're going to make, but the idea is this is an incredibly lucrative opportunity. So I don't, you guys could look this up and we'll learn about it more later, but last year I made about 49, a little over $49,000. So that's the equivalent of having almost $2 million in the bank in profit share.
49 in profit.
So if you,
Right.
if you just repeated 48 people every single year, half of them cappers and half cappers, in 4 years, you'd be earning about 384,000 a year if they all stayed. Because it's 96.
Yeah, my math on that is about 336, but yeah, I mean, we're talking about significant money.
Yeah.
Significant.
So you do just repeat, rinse and repeat.
Right. Now, let's talk about what kind of time commitment we would expect this to take. So if you want to set 17 appointments per month so that 10 can be held, okay, 17 appointments set so 10 can be held. My guess is that just to keep it super clean, that's 1 appointment set per day. 1 appointment set per day is you should be considering as your standard. Okay. Now, there are days where it could take me 2 hours to set 1 appointment, and there are days where it literally takes me 3 minutes to set an appointment. Okay. But my guess is that in order to set 1 appointment consistently, you're probably looking at an hour of this work each day. But roughly an hour of this work each day. And as we have more and more time and more data to track, then we can kind of fine tune that. So we might get it down to 30 minutes, or we might get it, an hour and 15 minutes, whatever it is. So my first request of you guys is to figure out which hour it's going to be, right? And then basically make that a protected time block, just like any of your time blocks, right? And what I kind of internalized when I first started doing this was, this is just another business. If you're teaching me how to talk to buyers and talk to sellers, right, then I don't get the privilege of talking to them unless I lead generated for them. So I had to spend a certain amount of time speaking to prospecting so that I could have an appointment. This is no different. This is absolutely no different. So you should have a pipeline report. You should have a database, right? You should have a list of all of the stuff that you can invite them to, right? So you could go get a calendar from the Chat North office or Alpharetta or our office. You could be on some Facebook groups and be looking for career visioning classes and listing presentation classes and technology releases. And basically you should be compiling a huge group of carrots that we can dangle to these people. And I believe that we should share that stuff within our chat, right? And we'll do this meeting once a week, and we could say, hey, next week Andy's doing this class, and then Leslie's doing this class, and Chat North's got this really cool speaker coming in, or whatever. And we can always have kind of our top priority for the sessions that we can invite people to. Okay. Any questions so far, Pamela? Any questions?
No. Are you talking to me? No questions.
All right, cool.
I love the idea of, looking at the other calendars for the other offices, because you're right. There's always something pretty amazing we can invite somebody to.
That's right. That's exactly right. So let me give you, let's move into some theory real fast, and then we'll talk a little bit about the tracking. So when you're on the phone with any agent, or when you're encountering any agent, like at an open house, or at a new home neighborhood, or you're mingling with them socially, or whatever it may be, you got to remember that there's really only 2 issues that a real estate agent is going to have. Okay, the first issue is that they do not have enough leads. The second issue is they have too many leads. And what I mean by that is they have too many leads to have the quality of life that they were seeking when they originally wanted to get into real estate, and to deliver the quality of service that their people have become accustomed to and view that as a standard for their business. Meaning, if I get any more leads, I will not be able to live the lifestyle I want to live. It's too demanding. I won't have dinner with my family. I won't have weekends for vacations and that kind of stuff, or it will deteriorate the level of service that I give to my people because I'm worn too thin. Okay. So what I have, let me see if I can move my I'm gonna draw something for you guys real fast. And you might say that we are like kind of 30,000 foot view here, Pamela, but it's this simple, okay? I'm drawing a triangle. Most everything is a triangle at KW. Let me see if I can, you guys want to go back a tiny bit and, okay, cool. Can you guys, I think I've drawn this for you guys before, but, perfect. Okay, so I want you to imagine this triangle. This is a tool that I learned as a TL. Okay, let's move that out. And I'll move this closer. Thank you. Okay, here's a triangle. What goes here? This is the MREA triangle. Leads. This is listings. And this is leverage, right? And we can sit here all day and try to make everything super complicated. It's not super complicated at all. It's actually super easy. Okay. Oftentimes we try to overcomplicate things as a justification for not doing the work, right? And you guys are only in the room here because you're high achievers, and that's probably not been your issue. But I want to remind you to keep it simple. Okay. So what I was taught is that if I simply know what the person makes, I know what their problem is. Okay. So let's talk that through for a moment. If you are $0 to $2 million in sales volume, okay, which is a half cap, you have a leads problem. Your biggest problem is you just flat out don't have enough leads. Okay. Because what you're telling me here, especially if they're half cap. So remember, half cap is about 800,000 in volume or more. So it's 800,000 in volume to about 1.7 in volume. If you're selling this amount of real estate, I know a couple of things about you. The first is you most likely have sold more homes than what fell into your lap when you first decided to get into real estate and you told the world you're a real estate agent, right? So maybe you told the world you're a real estate agent, one or two people came up and said, hey, you can help me. And then because they don't have the appropriate systems or the appropriate scripts or confidence or practice or any of that kind of stuff, they now are in the lead receiving business.
Right.
They're in the lead receiving business as opposed to the lead generation business. Because if they were in the lead generation business, they'd sell more homes, right? So if you're here, what you're telling, your biggest problem is leads. The consultation doesn't need to go anywhere else other than what are you doing for lead generation? What systems are you using? How do you know you're winning, right? How do you know what a successful day is? Like they teach you in bold, contact 20 people. That's black and white. Either you did it or you did not do it. Or, hey, you need to go on one appointment a week for your sales business. Either you did it or you did not do it. Either you're on track or you're off track, black and white. Your issue is you don't have enough leads. Probably means you don't have the skill to get the appointments. You're either not generating enough leads or you're not trying, right? And you're not trying because you're not confident, and you're not confident because you don't have anyone around you teaching you this stuff, right? And you're not behaving like a business owner. You're most likely treating it like a hobby. Mm-hmm. Because if you sat down at your workstation every single day, you'd make more money than this. It's just that simple. Okay. Now, if you are making between and this is just my opinion, but this is what I've seen from thousands of agents, okay? If you're making you're selling between $2 and $5 million worth of real estate a year, you have a listings problem, okay? That's the only thing we need to be talking about is your business is probably too many buyers. You're probably running ragged, showing homes, right? You most likely do not have systems in place because you're too busy to have systems or create them. You haven't hired anyone yet, so you have all the job titles, right? And that's the only reason why you're not over 5 million. It's because you don't have enough listings, right? Because you can only handle so many buyers per month or per year, right? And as you're hiring these buyers, as you're working with so many of these buyers, because you don't have any help yet, you're the admin, you're the social media person, you're the bookkeeper, you're writing all the thank you cards, you are buying all the balloons, you're sticking the signs in the ground, like you are literally doing everything. And you're running out of time. Okay. And as we go higher and higher in this, what's happening is your quality of life is deteriorating even more, right? Because you're spending less time with your family. You're instead of eating healthy, you're driving through the drive-through because you got no time, right? You haven't, sat down with you haven't gone to church in a while. You're not doing anything fun on the weekends. It's an open house or showing property. I mean, you're smiling because you've been there, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of there now, except I'm only doing seller listings, but it's still the same.
So I found that this pressure where it was like the tipping point for me was around 4 million. And at that point, I was willing to give up profits to buy back my time. Okay. So generally you see it more around 5 million. Okay. And at that point, if you're $5 million or higher, there's only one thing you care about, which is somebody needs to help me. Who's going to help me do all this stuff? I'm tired of paperwork. I'm tired of contract to close, right? I don't want to open the door for the, termite guy anymore, right? So it's how am I going to grow? Who am I going to hire? What systems am I going to use? That kind of stuff. So if you ask a real estate agent of any production level how business is, and that's what you should be asking, by the way, do not call them on the phone and be like, hey, you ever thought about coming to Keller Williams? That's not going to work, right? We'll get to scripts in a second, but we want to get them speaking about their business, their experience being a real estate agent in this market, right? By the way, this is I don't have enough leads, and this is I have too many leads. You follow that, Pamela? I'm pulling this drawing out just for you.
Yes, I am. I'm following it. I'm driving, so I'm
I
gonna
know,
have
I
to
know.
go back and watch it. But yes, I'm listening closely.
Okay, so we have a lack of leads here. That's the reason why you're not going above 2 million. We have a lack of business systems and most likely the fact that you don't have enough seller listings and your time is out of control and your priorities are a mess and things are falling through the cracks and your family's wondering who the hell you are, right? And then over here, it is, I need help. Okay. I'm not trying to be a smartass when I ask this question, but is there any company out there that wrote the book on this stuff? Right? Command, Facebook Lead Accelerator, Scripts and Dialogues, Bold, Ignite, listing presentation classes. I mean, our calendar, our training calendar has got like 3 or 4 classes on it every single day. Not to mention the training calendars of North Atlanta and Chat North and the stuff that we might find from, group coaching and sitting down with Aubrey or myself or Robin or whoever, right? So if you were to say, how's business? This person would generally say something like, I just need some more opportunities. Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about what you do each day for lead generation. Well, I'm not really consistent with that. Okay, so what was your goal this year? My goal is to sell 15 houses. Okay, and how many have you sold so far? Well, I've sold 3. Okay, so how do you feel about that? Don't tell them how they should feel because they say, well, shit, I just got over COVID. I was a long hauler for the last 8 months, right? You just don't know what's going on in people's lives. So instead of telling them how they should feel if they've only sold 3 houses, like, hey, you need me to run some gas money over to you? Because you probably need some, right? The reason why you're not coming to the office is probably because you can't afford gas to come into the office because you're broke, right? So what do you need? They need a class on lead gen. They need a class on scripts. They need to pop into a PC session and get some people around them that are talking like business owners, right? They're doing this work each and every day. They need to come in and make some phone calls, right? Over here, if they've gotten past the $2 million mark, their biggest issue is they probably got here just out of sheer tenacity, It wasn't by systems, right? It wasn't by, anything remarkable. It was the fact that they just were willing to spend less time with their family, for lack of a better way to put it, right? And so these people should be learning about systems, resources, technology, command, tracking, follow-up systems, metrics of success, right? How many listings do you need each month in order to hit your goals? Well, I've never really calculated that. Wait, so are you working off of a business plan right now? No, I've never done a business plan. Wait a second, no one in your office, your broker hasn't sat down and helped you with a business plan? Right, I'm creating doubt. I'm not saying your broker sucks because they haven't built a business plan for you. I'm saying, I'm saying as if I'm surprised, like, so your broker hasn't walked you through this stuff? And they're like, no. And I say, how do you feel about that? Right? So it's not KW. It's identifying the gap between where they are and where they would like to be, and figuring out why this exists and who's going to help them get from here to here. And more than likely that they don't actually know who that person is, right? Especially if you're talking to somebody at some of the lower cost brokerages like Virtual Properties, Maximum One, Solid Source, Chapman Hall, JPARD, what's it called?
JPAR.
Yeah, what's the JP and Associates,
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Thank you.
right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who are the other, some of those companies. But those companies, here's the flat out truth. They're not receiving enough in revenue from the agents to invest it back into their agents.
Mhm.
Okay. If they were, then they would be doing better, quite frankly. Right. So the key is to ask them how their business is, identify what their issue is, and then pair that up with an offering. The offering could be an invitation to a class. The offering could be, hey, come on in and we'll do a economic model together, a business plan, same thing, right? Now, some of this is going to be dependent on your confidence level, but there's kind of two paths you can go down. The first is you go straight for the invitation to a class and they enjoy the class, and then you meet them there or something like that, follow up, and then get them in front of Robin or Aubrey.
Mhm.
The other one is you go straight for the kill, right? Depending on how the conversation is going. Like I spoke with a woman a few days ago who 10 days ago had transferred to Maximum One from another company. She basically chose Maximum One because it was the cheapest place out there. And before she goes and buys a bunch of signs and all that crap, I went straight for, hey, you need to meet Robin before you go any further, because you didn't talk to Keller Williams, the #1 company in town, before you made your decision. Is that right? You know there's the #1 company out there, but you didn't take the time to go visit with them? Really? Right?
Yeah.
So as long as you can figure out what their problem is, the rest is easy. Okay. The other thing which I have done quite a bit is invite them to a personal meeting with me, where we can sit down and go through a business plan together. Or maybe they come into one of the Zoom sessions with PC or something,
Mhm.
right? I think for you guys, just to make sure that we're not bogging our calendars down, it's probably best to just use the class that's already happening
Right.
as leverage. Okay. Use the class that's already happening as leverage. As soon as they go to the class, you go there and you sit next to them. Hey, what do you enjoy the most? What are you going to implement? Right? Can I help you implement any of this stuff? Oh my gosh, you love this. Wait till you see our calendar next month. By the way, here's Robin Lemon. She's our assistant team leader. She'd love to, get to know you a little bit better, hear more about your business and your goals. Would you be open to a consultation? Well, sure. Boom. One appointment gone. See what I'm saying? Okay, we're not doing anything to them, right? We are not recruiting them. We are introducing them to resources that they currently don't have access to. Okay, when I'm getting a little pushback on the phone, sometimes I will say something to the effect of, look, if If you don't want to talk about Keller Williams, or you're just trying to recruit me, look, ultimately, yes. If I can show you enough value and Keller Williams makes sense to you, then yes, we can go down that path. You don't want to talk about Keller Williams, we don't have to talk about Keller Williams. First thing is to help you. And it's going to become very, very clear that this is a path that you should explore, or it's going to be very, very clear that this is a path you should not explore. And either one of those is fine with me. Now, can we get back to your business? Right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of take the pressure off a little bit by saying, look, it's going to, once you see what you need to see, it's going to be very obvious on whether this is the right path for you. Right? And really what's happening is they're going to get in, they're going to talk about a GPS, they're going to talk about the math behind the success. They're going to talk about a bunch of people that are gathering together, making phone calls. They're going to come to a team meeting and see how we're talking about all the vendors that can help and all the stats that you can share at the parties and all that kind of stuff. And they're gonna be like, wait, I haven't had a team meeting like this in my whole career. Right?
Yeah.
You say, whoa, how much does it cost to be here? Right? Then the questions start coming out.
Yeah.
I had to swear to this woman the other day that I wouldn't bring up Keller Williams. And 5 minutes into the meeting, she's like, how much does it cost to be there? And this is a verbal meeting while I'm driving, by the way. I didn't even
Wow.
put that much effort into it.
Wow.
Okay. She's like, no one has ever talked to me like this. So how long have you been in the business? 6 years. In 6 years, no one has ever had a business conversation with you? I'm creating doubt. Just no. Say, it's a good thing I called today. Sounds like we should meet. See what I'm saying? So the second you've identified this and made it painful, it's time to go in for the kill. Okay. And I can't convince you, Candace, to join Keller Williams if it doesn't make sense for you and your family. But if it does make sense for you and your family, it should be a slam dunk. Okay. And it's just like with buyers and sellers. If you're not ready today to sell for whatever reason it might be, my first priority is to get you and I into relationship. One of the lines that Aaron Kaufman says, and this is like a little off color, but he says, look, if you want to date a girl and the girl's dating someone else, you don't go to the girl and talk shit about her boyfriend. You get into a relationship with the girl, and when her boyfriend screws up, you're right there. Okay, so to connect that from a real estate perspective is their broker is going to screw up. They're going to change the commission splits. They're going to give a lead to the wrong person. They're going to try to, they're not going to return a phone call. They're not going to be available when they need help or something like that, right? They're going to screw up. And if they know that there's another brokerage out there with nice, supportive people that didn't ask for any money or didn't ask for any commitment and just trying to help, right? Trying to come from contribution, you'll be the one they call. Make sense? And by the way, if you call them every couple of months and say, hey, we got family reunion coming up, we got this coming up, whatever, you're probably going to be communicating with them more. Thank you, John, today.
That was fun.
That was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be communicating with you more than their own broker, right? So it makes it very, we're not recruiting them. We are sharing stories and sharing opportunities with them, because as a business owner, you should always be open to opportunities.
Right.
Right. And here's one more piece of theory. This is another Aaron Kaufman idea. He says, look, I am not loyal to Keller Williams. Okay. What I'm loyal to is the value proposition that Keller Williams is delivering today. Okay. For myself and for my family for the last 11 years. However, with all due respect to KW, I'm not stupid. If there's another company out there that's going to provide a better quality of life for my family and I'd probably go there.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I'm not just blind to this company because I've drunk the Kool-Aid or something like that. I'm a smart business owner. I've got a lot of success, and I'll go take my business wherever I need to take my business to take my family to the next level. Right? Now, I don't expect that to happen, and I'm not saying I'm leaving or something, but what I am saying is I'm not stupid, right? If I'm loyal to the best value proposition out there, and yesterday it was KW, and today it's KW, and my suspicion is tomorrow it'll be KW. But if they stop delivering on the promise of God family business, if they don't stay in front of the tech changes, if they don't pour into their agents, if they don't do KW cares and all the other stuff I love about this company, right? Or they make decisions that aren't in line with my values, then yeah, I might choose to go take my business elsewhere, right? And sometimes I'll even say that to a prospect. Say, look, I'm not even loyal to Keller Williams myself. I'm just loyal to the quality of life I've been able to achieve by my affiliation with them, right?
Mhm.
How is your leadership skills or your business developed since you got into partnership with your current brokerage, right? Most of this is all questions, asking questions. So in the script book that we posted, it's got a lot of my resources from the MAPS course. It's got a lot of my resources from being a TL and, you know, kind of going through the quadrants and all that kind of stuff. Just to make sure everyone's taking the recruiting, Rockstar Recruiting, right?
That's
They
the,
didn't do anything yesterday.
yeah, we had the hour of recruiting
It was
And
just calls.
with, and then we had the training at 1, I think it was. Every couple of weeks we have that in the afternoon.
Okay, so there's training with that class. And then there's the actual class itself where you
Right.
log into the platform and you can go back and watch the videos, and they've got collateral, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're making calls and he's critiquing you when you come off mute. So he can say, here's, you know, how did the call go? If he sees
Oh,
you
cool.
jump-
He didn't do that when I took the class a few years ago.
Yeah.
So post your, like, you know, I don't necessarily need like 100 messages each day in this chat, but we're a team here.
Okay.
Okay, so anything that you guys are learning, I want you to feel comfortable sharing with each other. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, the standard is 10 appointments set, or I'm sorry, 10 appointments held monthly. Okay, now I have a document here that is called the Roswell Growth Team. And I might even change the title of the WhatsApp to growth rather than recruiting, because we're not, yeah, I suppose we're recruiting, but it's recruiting. Recruiting insinuates that we're doing something to them.
Yes.
Growth insinuates that we're doing something for them. Okay, so let me just double check who I have sent this to. All right, Pam at weatherbyrealtypartners.com. This has been shared with, and everyone else that this has been shared with as well. So this document, I've got a couple different pages. The first one is the Roswell team results. So we've got a leaderboard set up with set, held, joined, sponsor, percentage of standard, percentage of held to set, percentage of joined to held, percentage of sponsor to join. I want to track everything, okay? Because if I know that, let's say Pamela is setting a lot of appointments, but a lower number of appointments are actually being held, then that's a coaching moment, right? If Justin, let's say, is getting a lot of helds but not getting a lot of joined, that's a different coaching moment, right? So we could say, hey, are you setting, like, what kind of expectations are you setting on the phone, right? Are you creating enough curiosity for them to like, you know, cancel everything on their schedule because this is the most important meeting of the day, right? If you don't create, it's like a listing appointment. If you don't create enough value, they're not going to show up, right? So we can talk through how to create more value and how to ask for the commitment. Hey, I'm putting this on my calendar, okay? And I'm more than likely going to turn down a few other people that want this time slot. So I want to make sure that it's on your calendar too, okay? If there's anything that pops up that causes you not to be available at this time, will you please give me a call as soon as possible, okay? Because I could fill this slot a bunch of times, and I want to give it to you. So is there anything that you could foresee that would prevent us from having this appointment tomorrow at 2, right? Quite honestly, a lot of these people have never been spoken to like that, but this is a business consultation and they need to be spoken to like that. Okay, so what I have here is a tab for all of you guys that is basically more or less a pipeline report. Name, brokerage, cell phone, did you set, did you hold, did you invite them to a class, did they join, did they name you as a sponsor, and did you get your bonus paid?
Are we just saying yes under there, under the,
That's probably what I would do.
okay.
But as long, I don't
We don't have
particularly
to
care.
Which class.
I don't particularly want to micromanage you guys.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of some of the bullets to keep track of who you've been courting.
Okay.
Okay. And if you go through, eventually you'll have this thing real long and real full, right? And you can go and say, oh yeah, Samantha, she came to that listing presentation class and then, I never heard from her. Let me go see how her business is doing, right? Or let me check back in. So you're basically creating a database of real estate agents that you're in courtship with. Okay. God forbid you accept to have an appointment with me. You're never going to hear the end of me. I'm still flirting with people I talked to 6 years ago.
That's exactly what Dustin said yesterday. He said,
This,
I'll follow up with you for 30 years.
that's right. If you make an appointment with me, I don't even care if you keep the appointment. You are never going to hear the end of me until you either join or die. And if you join, you're still never going to hear the end of me. And if you die, I'm going to double check from a few different sources that you're dead before I pull you out of the database.
Hey, Bill, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I had a problem with before when I was with the other office was retention. So, we're going to bust our ass to get people to come, right? So
Yep.
what are we doing now? What's changed over the last year to maintain retention?
There's a lot of things really. I mean, we have productivity coaching. I'm not saying you didn't have that in Alpharetta, but productivity coaching, technology. I mean, it's all the same stuff you're used to. I think retention in part is controlled on the front end, which is expectation setting. Look, if you are here and you want to be here, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some commitment. You can't just like wave a wand and all of a sudden you're there. Like you got to work for it, right? So, I don't know that I have the answer you're looking for, but what I can tell you of the people that I've had the privilege of sponsoring, I poke them every once in a while and say, hey, congratulations on your sale, or hey, anything I can do to help you? Hey, what are you struggling with right now? Hey, didn't see you at that event. You want to chat? Right. So you ultimately will probably keep a database of the things of the people that join, and then maybe pour into them in your own individual way. You don't have to be their mentor, okay? But you have a vested interest in their success, and I take that seriously. And so I spend a little bit of extra time reaching out to them. Now, if they're just going to come and treat it like a hobby, I mean, the truth is you're probably not going to make any money from them anyway.
Pamela, why did you ask that? What was your experience in Alpharetta?
Well, I just had a lot of people come in and a lot of people go out quickly. So I just,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
Well, I don't know what I went to the Alpharetta office several times before I landed here. I was in the Gainesville one and I was up in the Seattle, Washington one as well. And I saw a lot of high turnover too. And the one thing that I thought was super unique about this office is just, it's not just classes that they're doing, it's workshops. And it's literally like, hey, we're going to hold your hand and make you produce. I just feel like that's what's missing in a bunch of different Keller Williams offices that I've been to. So I was just curious what your experience was, because to me, it's been priceless to have someone sit there and literally like, hey, we're going to do golden letters. Here's the letter. Here's the envelope. Here's 3 people I've sent them. Here's what they said. Here's the stamps. Like, let's do this together. Like, there's no excuse. And I just think that's been so powerful. But I didn't know what your retention experience was that you were referencing.
Was there
So,
anything?
yeah, I mean, that's an excellent point. And I think, with Aubrey and Robin, they make a great team. I haven't, I'm brand new to this office. I haven't even been in yet one time since I joined 2 weeks ago. So I'll be excited to see that. But I do know them. I've known them both for years. And I think that they make a fantastic team. So that's why I'm excited about this program, because I do think that there will be more retention. I just wanted to know, I think what I would hear, and of course I'm not going after new agents like I have been in the past, but what I used to hear frequently was, when I got in, there wasn't any, I didn't know what to do. And I think that Melody and Raven, everybody probably has a better handle on that now.
Yeah, I think every single day we're improving our systems and our communication and our courses and accountability and productivity coaching and all that stuff. So I think we
Maybe
all,
Bill can explain this more, but I popped in the office the other day and walked by their leadership meeting and they're talking about, we've had Keller Williams integration with Command and Facebook for years. How many people are actually taking advantage of it? And the office is like, well, that's going to be an upcoming workshop. And that, to me, that's what I constantly hear is, are our people taking advantage of our stuff?
Mhm.
And many times the answer is no. And it's like, great, well, what do we do to make them get involved? And that's what I think is so unique about this office.
right. Well, here's the thing. Here's the ugly truth is we don't get paid when they just sign paperwork,
Mhm.
right? We all have a vested interest. And this is part of the KW value proposition is we only win when they win, right? But part of our encouragement is, oh my gosh, that you got to come to Red Day, come into the office and, Bill's awesome with productivity coaching. You got to go hang out with him and learn from the coaches, right? Come to team meeting, come to this workshop. Like we have to get excited about it so that they get excited about it, right? If we're just like, oh yeah, make sure you spell that name. It's WEATHER. BY, make sure it's Pamela Weatherby when you do that sponsorship paperwork, and then I'll see you later, right? That's ineffective, right? Then it's profit share breath.
We could actually create a 36 touch, but less a touch system for people that we bring in to just love on them. I mean, the couple of people that I have in Keller Williams are not in this office, but
I mean, I have a Facebook group with a good chunk of the people in my profit share tree in. And every once in a while, I just put a message out there,
Mhm.
A quote or a new script or an event or something like that, just because I want them to take advantage of more resources.
Yeah.
So what I have in mind for our group really is to feed off of each other and to make sure that we pick up if Candace is struggling, then number one, we're here to help her, but we're also here to make sure that the numbers are here for the team. So if there's 5 people on the team, then the commitment from our group is 50 appointments held with the leadership, whether 8 of them come from you and 12 of them come from me, or 11 come from you and 9 come from me because I'm out of town for a week, or whatever it is. Not only do I want to make sure each of us hit the minimum standard, but I want to make sure that we are doing it as a team.
Yeah.
Right. Because as we learned this morning, and not learned, but as we heard again this morning, it's stories, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things that I would encourage you guys to do, particularly, I mean, really all of us have been elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
Right. What's your story? Right. How did your business adjust, or how did your mindset adjust, or how did your, everything from being a spouse or a parent or whatever, how has your life changed since you went to KW or came to KW? And in some of our examples, why did we choose to come back?
Mhm.
Right. Of course, we need to keep it all positive, right? You don't want to say Remax, are you kidding me? Right. But you just ask the questions. Hey, are you hitting your goals? Right. And in the script book that I sent you, there's a lot of the common objections. Oh, I love my broker. Oh, I figured you loved your broker. That's why you're still there. So how about your business? Are you hitting your goals for your business? Well, no.
Mhm.
Wait, you're not hitting your goals for your business. How is your broker helping you with that? Well, they're not really helping me with that. So do you think that they love you as much as you love them? Right? Just put a doubt into their head and stop talking. Right? Upswing when you need to, downswing when you need to. Make sense? So let's talk about who we're going to call. I'm working kind of behind the scenes to see if you guys can all get broker metrics on your computer. But for the moment, anyone, I know Pamela, I've sent you a list. I'm sure I've sent you a list, but I can send others. And Justin, you've got a couple lists. So what I tend to do is if you don't have a relationship with them, then I generally do not leave messages.
Mhm.
If you do have a relationship with them, like they would perhaps know your name, I'd go ahead and leave a message. Hey, just checking in on you, right? Look to compliment them for something as fast as you can, right? So I'm flirting with this dude who's the #1 agent in Crylike or whatever, Hey, congratulations, man. I see you're the #1 agent at your office at Crylike. Amazing. Congratulations. What are you doing well? Right? Oh, you figured out how to do this off-market thing really good. Awesome. Hey, what are you struggling with right now? Right? What are you struggling with? Then the next thing out of their mouth is either gonna be not enough leads or too many leads. That's the only two things you talk about, right? And generally speaking, if they're less than 5 million, they don't have enough leads. If they're 5 million and a loan, you might say, tell me a little bit about your team. I don't really have a team. So who does your paperwork? Right? Who puts the signs in the ground? Do you have somebody that does contract to close? Do you work with like a social media or marketing person? They're like, no, 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 no. Wow. So we have a class coming up to help you, use personality assessments to find the right talented person to help you take your business to the next level. Would that be interesting to you? Right. Now, any capper, we have a program with MAPS. My coach is going to be calling me any second, but any capper, so $1.7 million or more, MAPS will offer 4 30-minute private one-on-one coaching sessions for free. Okay, so you could offer that. And I wouldn't necessarily rattle off like every little carrot that we can offer them,
Right.
but you might say, hey, at your production level, there's a number of really cool opportunities that our team leader can share with you to see what might be the best fit. Could be a group coaching session like on, never-ending referrals, or 90 listings in 90 days, or, the language skills class.
Did you say 90 listings in 90 days?
Yeah, that's a group coaching class. So go on MAPS Coaching and see all the different coaching options there. Those classes are usually $200-300 for a capper. We'd be happy to pay for that for them, right? Cap management is a possibility. Cap management is when you say, hey, you don't have to pay the 30% until next, September or whatever. And the reason behind that is, what's up?
I was coming in really quickly because Jenny Parsley just signed.
Yeah.
She has some leads she would like to give away.
That doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't she keep them?
She doesn't want to deal with the whole dealing with her broker, her past broker with them and everything like that. So she would just like to refer them out to someone.
Okay.
And they're in Cartersville and she doesn't want to go.
Can you help
But
with
they're
that?
on a time crunch. So that's why she was like,
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if you have someone in PC or something.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
80 people in
Yeah.
PC. Thank you.
There will be first come, first serve.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Don't throw it out there to everyone. Call somebody in specifically.
the people that are engaging.
Yeah, I don't want some idiot doing it.
Okay. The only people that are engaging are watching the WhatsApp chat. So
Great.
you know what I
And
mean?
you'll be a chance
Go.
for you to introduce yourself and everything too. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, my coach should be calling any second. So I'm going to post this video on our chat. And what I'd like for you to do is
I'll be back.
don't, it's just conversations, guys. How you doing? You're not going to be perfect at the beginning. You're going to learn a lot of this stuff as time goes on. But I want to make sure that I'm here for you. And I've got lots of experience in this. And when you're making these phone calls, understand that every single person you call, just about, is off track. They wanted one thing and the results are something different. And they had dreams for financial freedom, or just one sec, Deb. They had dreams for financial freedom or a higher income or something like that, or they had goals for their quality of life, right? How much they would travel, or how much work they would do, or how often they would work at night or on the weekends. And 99 times out of 100, those goals are not being met. So you just have to identify the fact that that exists, ask them how that makes them feel, and then figure out how to find a solution for it. Hey, come to this class. Hey, why don't we meet? Hey, you should meet with Aubrey. Whatever. Make sense? All right, cool. I'll send you guys all a copy of this recording, and then I'll send you some messages about next week's meeting.
Yeah, the recording of the group.
Thank you so much, Pamela.